This is Cubs Pregame Live, presented by Subaru.
The Cubs begin the second half of their 10-day, 10-game road trip tonight in Pittsburgh, where the Cubs beat the Pirates 12-2 last night, and this will be Jeff Samardzij's final start of the season. First pitch comes your way at 6:05 right here on Comcast Sportsnet. Hello and welcome to Subaru Cubs Pregame Live alongside Todd Hollinsworth. I'm Gail Fisher, filling in for David Kaplan tonight. Now, the Cubs won it in blowout fashion last night, giving Travis Wood the victory and playing spoiler to the Pirates' playoff hopes. Since it is the Sharks' last start of the year, why not help him and go out with a victory as well?
Well, he's done everything that we would have hoped for this year. Jeff Samardzij has been a fantastic story, one of the bright stories for this Cubs team. Moving forward, yeah, it's his last start. Go out there and try and get a victory. Not that they haven't been all along, but he's been dominant. He's been great in the second half. No drop in velocity. Innings are up a little bit. This is as good a time as any to shut him down. He knows the day is here. Some rumors around that he might do some pinch running. You still might see him around the ballpark. He clearly will be on board. But, yeah, this is going to be his last start. They're going to do everything they can to score a few runs for him tonight, which they have not done a very good job of this year. Hopefully he gets the victory. If
I know Samardzij, he's going to try to pitch a complete game tonight. I can tell you that.
I'd like to believe that.
All right, let's update you on the fight from the other night. Earlier today, Major League Baseball suspended Cubs catcher Steve Clevenger 1 game for his, quote, aggressive actions and fighting during Thursday night's game against the Nationals. He will serve the suspension tonight. Clevenger was the only person suspended for the incident. Obviously, he's not appealing since he will serve that tonight. Do you agree with this, that he is the only guy who should be suspended for this?
Well, I mean...
or should he be suspended at all, really?
You can't deny what you saw right there. I mean, you saw the videotape. I mean, he comes in. There's a pretty clear shove right there in that situation. This was a start-again, stop-again skirmish that exploded a couple nights ago. And, I mean, it is. I mean, you saw how this thing broke down. It's really hard to deny. You know, whether it motivated the Cubs or not, I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure what the angle or the intentions were, but clearly he gets into the middle of it. He gives the first push, the first aggressive push, and it kind of started the grabbing and the shoving, and thankfully there were no punches thrown. But I bet you if you ask Steve, he probably agrees with it too.
Yeah, the videotape doesn't lie. All right, let's get to the Cubs lineup for tonight. Manager Dale Swaim doing it Tony La Russa style with the pitcher batting 8th. Let's take a look here, starting off with David DeJesus, of course, leading things off. Valbuena playing third base, Rizzo at first, Soriano playing left field, Castro at short, Castillo behind the dish, Barney at second, and there it is, Samardzij batting 8th with Tony Campana in center field and batting 9th. Here's Dale Swaim on the lineup switch.
This came to me about 1 o'clock today.
This afternoon?
Thinking about it. Why would I think about it other than when a lineup is the way it is? I mean, you got a guy to come in, roam center field, and create havoc when he's on the bases, but so you can get a couple leadoff men at the top and let him steal the bases. So it's not always a perfect scenario to do it. So it's kind of the right scenario with a pitcher that can have quality at bats in front of him and create something up there at the top of the order with Campana before DeJesus.
All right, so the philosophy, Top, obviously having 2 leadoff batters basically is what he's saying.
Well, one time through the lineup, yeah, he's going to be at the bottom the first time through, but you spin it back around. And ideally what you're looking for is Tony to get on top in front of David DeJesus. Well, you're not going to move everybody down a spot in order to get Tony to the top. So what you do is you stick him at the bottom, and that's really what ends up happening here. Hopefully he does something with his playing time. I mean, Tony, he's shown flashes that he's a big league ball player and that he belongs in the big leagues through periods of time, but he's lost a lot of playing time here in the second half. And matter of fact, spent most of it at AAA. But again, you hope that he capitalizes on this opportunity. That's what's going on for a lot of these young players right now. You're showing this team what you're all about, what you're made of, how you can go through slumps, how you can bounce back. But again, capitalize on the opportunity that's in front of you. These games mean something. They may not be, wins and losses for the Cubs, but this is a Pirates team that's playing with, well, you didn't see it last night, but it should be playing with a high level of intensity as they make a playoff push. And that's how you want to grade these players. players. I mean, there's going to be key series down the stretch for Cubs players, and if I'm watching and I'm grading, I'm picking out those series as a little bit more important.
Well, one mainstay in the Cubs lineup, of course, is Starlin Castro. Last night, Castro became just the 28th player to collect his 500th career hit by the age of 22. The only other active player to accomplish that feat is Alex Rodriguez. Unbelievable.
Well, Gail, he is just, he really hasn't changed his game a whole lot, and I wouldn't have encouraged him to do it. What we have seen is a little bit more discipline. I know the batting average isn't where everybody wanted it to be. I spoke about this about the All-Star break, where he was and when he was struggling with. Well, he was struggling because he was trying to be more disciplined at the plate, and I think it affected him. But you're seeing him come out of it now, and this is where I get excited about Starlin Castro, is that he's starting to understand how to control the at-bat. Understand when they're going to pitch to him, understand when length of an at-bat, pitches seen are going to help him, and he has been so clutch with RBI opportunities, an area the Cubs have truly struggled with. So maybe this 5 spot is somewhere he finishes up this season and evolves into next season as a big bat, maybe in the middle of that lineup. But I've been really impressed with his approach here in the second half.
One name you did not see in the Cubs lineup for tonight is Brett Jackson. He is sitting this one out after making that great catch last night and crashing into the fence in center field. Jackson said afterwards he'd go through a wall for his team. He pretty much did right there. Swaim says he is day-to-day, but probably won't play tomorrow or Monday, mainly because the Cubs are facing lefties both of those days. And Todd, if you had any questions about what type of player Jackson would be, you don't anymore.
No, I mean, complete self-sacrifice. It was a 7-0 ball game at the time. I mean, people at home, you need to know that. If you didn't see the game last night, you see it right there on the scoreboard going by. This was a game that was completely under control. The Cubs had this one. Yes, it was 7-0, and he threw himself into that wall on a diagonal angle, didn't have a feel for it, and gave himself up to make the catch. This was a game that they had completely under control. Travis Wood was dealing, and that's who he is, the separation. The one thing that I was concerned with, not concerned about, but because I wasn't very familiar with a lot of the young players, was seeing the separation. I knew a lot of them were going to come up and succeed and have some success with the bat on defense. The combination of the two together. Wanted to see how that played out. Brett Jackson's been struggling a little bit. This isn't a guy who gets down on his luck. He does not take his at-bats out to the field. You saw that right there, even though he's been struggling with the bat a little bit. Boom, great catch late in the ball game.
Thankfully, he did not get more hurt. He has some bumps and bruises, but he really could have suffered perhaps a concussion. Thankfully, he did not. Here's Dale Swaim on Jackson's effort from last night.
It's the kind of player you want, but there does come the risk factor of injury when you do that. You know, that's why we always, last couple of years with Carlos Gomez playing like that in Milwaukee, you're like, he was bound to get hurt sometimes because the speed they create when they're running, you know, whether it's diving on the bases when they're running because of the speed, and then the fearlessness they have of walls. You know, sometimes it's, you know, unfortunately, but it's just a matter of time before, you know, something happens. But that's, you don't take that away from anybody. That's a gift, and it's a good thing. Like, you know, that could have, if he doesn't catch that ball last night, that's a whole nother ball game.
Time now for a Joe Stone Crab What's at Stake. And with another errorless game tonight, Darwin Barney would break Ryan Sandberg's National League record of 123 straight errorless game streak at second base, I should say. Rhino's streak came over the 1989 and 1990 seasons. The Major League single-season errorless record is 141 set by Placido Polanco in 2007. This guy sometimes, Todd, when you have a streak going, you know you have it, it's in your head, but he has not let it affect him at all.
You know, I mean, I'm a numbers cruncher guy. You know, I start looking at things. I try to make explanations of why and if and how things happen. And Darwin Barney, you know, as this streak has developed, the one thing I wanted to watch was to see how he was going to continue to pursue his game or polish his game at second base defensively. He's actually getting to more balls now than he was in the first half of the season, which to me is absolutely amazing. I mean, you think of what the human nature would be in the game of baseball, and you know, creeping up on a record that has been very, very obviously difficult to break, but he is getting to more balls now, which is, he's fearless, and that's what you want to see. We talk about fearlessness from Brett Jackson in center field and some of the selflessness that you love to see on baseball teams. Darwin Barney's that guy. He doesn't steer away from a pop-up. He gets after everything that he possibly can. And matter of fact, if you want to go back to the questionable error that he almost made at third base at Wrigley Field on the last homestand. It was a diving play in which he was backing up a throw from Wellington Castillo into center field and tried to make a play at third base with that streak on the line.
Yeah, he is not afraid. All right, one more question I want to ask you about before we hit a break. The Cubs released 6 minor league coaches today, including Iowa manager Dave Bialas, and I want to ask you about this because obviously there have been a lot of changes this season on the player development side. They got a new farm director. They brought in a new scout. Now we see the coaches in the minor league system, 6 of them being let go, clearly signaling they want to go in a different direction.
Well, very common behavior with when organizations, when you bring in a big front office, that's, I mean, when you bring in a new president, you bring in a new general manager, all the pieces seem to make sense. I've lived through these transitions before with different organizations. With the Dodgers, I witnessed it, and this is exactly what happens. I would speak to that. In the Dodger organization, we had a turnover. Our manager, general manager were replaced, and that's exactly what starts to happen. The minor league coaches, they bring in guys who they're familiar with, who they have history with throughout the game of baseball, so that everybody's on the same page. That's ultimately what you're looking for. This, in a lot of ways, isn't a knock on these coaches. It's just that their way is, well, not maybe Theo's way, and Theo's going to bring in guys that he's familiar with, guys that he trusts, guys that he's going to interview and know that are going to buy into what he is trying to sell, not only to the organization itself, but to the fan base, trying to put a winning product out there. He wants to know all the way down to the depths of the bottom of the system, everybody's on board.
Trying to create a new Cubs way from the bottom up. All right, we have to take our first time out. After the break, we'll look at today's pitching matchup, and it will be Cubs fans' final chance to see Jeff Samardzija pitch in 2012 as the organization has decided to end his season early. You'll hear from the Cubs righty coming up on Cubs Pregame Live.
What's at Stake is brought to you by Joe's Seafood Prime Steak and Stone Crab. For the city's finest selection of prime steaks and fresh seafood, there's no better place than Joe's.
Ready to go to work?
I can feel you in my bones. I feel you in my heart. I know it in my soul. You've loved me from the start. You've made me who I am and all I'll ever be. When I see you, I see me.
Every mom needs a little helper. That's why I got a Subaru.
Love. It's what makes a Subaru a Subaru.
Now 3 on this rare collection of baseball cards. I'm at 33. You want to put right there. Once again, all going to charity. Now 4. Now 5. Now 6. Now 7. I'm at 37. Now you're gonna kick yourself if you don't go home with this box of baseball history. Now 8. Now done. Sold it. 3,800 right there to that lucky gentleman.
Transfer funds from anywhere with mobile banking. Get started today at BMO Harris Bank.
I look good, I look good, I look exactly the way you wish you could. I look good, I look good, come on. Right, come on. I look good,
Time out there, buddy.
Brian Urlacher?
That's me, here to defend you from DirecTV's so-called big deal. DirecTV raises your bill 100% after a year, and they lock you into a 2-year contract that could cost you over $2,500.
I can't afford that.
That's why your best play is Xfinity. The biggest plays on Sunday, live. The best of college football, and you can take the action wherever you go.
Hey, Brian.
No pixie dust, just pigskin. Yeah! Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Call today.
Diamond certified 1-carat solitaires just $18.90. 1-carat standards $9.90 per carat. Thousands of GIA and EGL diamonds guaranteed the lowest price. The latest designer style set while you wait. By Factory Direct, the jewelry exchange in Villa Park.
You can listen to Sirius XM. You can make a hands-free call. You can relax in the comfortable interior. But with a proven 5.3-liter Vortec V8 and a high-strength steel frame, you can't take the truck out of the GMC. During GMC Truck Month, get 1 year of Sirius XM satellite radio when you purchase a GMC Sierra. And get this specially equipped Sierra for a total value of $7,000. Or trade up to get a total value of $8,000.
Game 2 between the Cubs and Pirates coming up at the top of the hour. The Cubs trying to make it 2 wins in a row after routing the Buccos 12-2 last night. Welcome back to Subaru Cubs Pregame Live. I'm Gail Fisher alongside Todd Hollinsworth. We think Kaplan might be headed to Wrigley right now for a concert. Let's take a look at our Toshiba pitching matchup. It will be Jeff Samardzija for the Cubs taking on James McDonald. We'll talk more about McDonald in just a minute, but for Samardzija, it will be his final start of the season as the Cubs have decided to shut him down as he approaches the 170 innings pitched mark. The righty heads into tonight's game with an 8-13 record with a 3.91 ERA in his first season in the rotation, and he was asked if he tried to talk the organization out of the decision to end his season early.
I'm trying to talk my way out of this in spring training, so I thought I could pitch my way out of it, but that didn't work. That just ended up getting it shut down a little quicker than we wanted it to. So, yeah, I mean, I really don't have too much to say about it. I don't really know what to say.
You seem surprised, right?
No, I mean, we kind of knew what was going on, and I had an idea of what their idea was, but just with our situation, you just figure we'd keep pitching, just because we kind of needed a guy. So, and I thought I was going good, and all my numbers were good, strength-wise with my shoulder, and number-wise with the radar gun and stuff. So, but it was one of those things you're just kind of sitting and waiting. So, but I just wanted to, really finish strong, and we're still not done yet. So.
Is that why it's so hard? Is because you feel strong?
Well, that too. That makes it hard, but it also makes it hard just leaving your team. I mean, I'm not leaving the team. It's just, when you're in a tough spot, you need everybody to step up and do their part, and that made it hard for sure. Because I want to be out there pitching every 5th day, and I want to end the season as a full season without any question marks. So now next year, I guess in the middle of September, we'll be new uncharted waters, I guess, or something like that.
Well, Samardzija is at 165 2/3 innings. He'll probably be around 172 or more if he wants to pitch a complete game tonight, after tonight. Todd, from your remarks earlier in the show, it sounds like you agree with this decision.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. I mean, there's not a whole lot in my mind that Jeff has left to prove. I mean, 10 starts in the second half. He's got a 2.66 ERA. That's top 10 in all of Major League Baseball. I mean, he has done, he's made a lot of adjustments. He's pitched better. The wins and losses, listen, every Cubs fan out there understands what this team has been. The winning and the losing, it's a byproduct of a team that's struggled. It's not really a byproduct of what Jeff has been to this organization. Has there been a drop in velocity? No. Has there been a drop in stuff? Is it secondary pitches? Yeah, I mean, at times it comes and goes, but I mean, to me, he looks as strong now as he did the first start that he took. But he's also got to realize, and as I see it, it's a compliment. This is a guy that they care deeply about and a guy that they see as being a big part of the rotation for seasons to come. This team right now is not in that position. They're not playing meaningful games outside the competition that they're playing right now. He's young, first time in the rotation, extended, most mileage he's had in any season. Why in the world would you continue to push it? This is a guy that you want to take care of, get him an extra 3 weeks of rest leading into the offseason, prepare him for his next season next year. I don't think that he's going to get any more big games, based on the competition itself. I mean, for the organization, I mean, Jeff's done everything that's been asked of him.
If he were to finish the campaign, he would have 4 more starts after tonight and probably reach 200 innings pitched, which seems unnecessary, really.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. If this was a team that was, pushing for the playoffs, you're going to see Jeff out there. I don't think that the Cubs are putting themselves in a position to maybe admitting to what Steven Strasburg's dealing with. That's not the case at all. This is a reflection of Jeff, and basically, Jeff, we care an awful lot about you. You're our shiny red Ferrari, and we want to take care of you. We're going to put you back in the shop now. It's time to cool it down for the winter, and this is as good a time as any to stop.
With Samardzija's season coming to an end, the Cubs will finish the year with just 1 pitcher from their opening day starting rotation. Ryan Dempster and Paul Mulholland were dealt at the trade deadline, and Matt Garza hasn't pitched since July with an elbow problem. Chris Volstead is the last man standing right now. All right, you mentioned Steven Strasburg. He will be shut down in Washington, so Samardzija, of course, isn't the only one. The Nationals, though, will be playing in the playoffs this season, but Strasburg's campaign is done after he allowed 5 runs in 3 innings against the Marlins last night. I can't believe they're doing this. It's one of their best pitchers, and you're going to the playoffs for sure.
Well, you're not in the minority. You're clearly in the majority. But again, you have to respect the Washington National organization, because here's what's most important to them: his health. How often do you see an organization go out on a limb, make a bold statement like this. We're going to pull our ace off our staff. It hasn't happened before, but what you're doing is we, much like I just talked about Jeff Samardzija, we care about our shiny red Ferrari, and we're going to take care of him. He's a Tommy John guy. He hasn't pitched in the bullpen at any point in his career. They really don't have any options. I feel like what has happened in this situation was they got him out of the gates. This team took off. It exploded onto the scene. They've made a run. He was in the process. They had this planned all along. They just didn't plan it out this way, and I think that's where they've gotten caught up in this a little bit.
Couldn't they have managed this differently?
Well, maybe you could, but again, you start talking about starting and stopping guys, putting themselves in a position. I mean, what were you going to do? Shut them down for a month? Could you give them more rest? I mean, how are you going to manage that? I think that they were more inclined because of the Tommy John surgery, because of the history behind his Tommy John surgery. If you think back to when he had to go through that, he actually went on the disabled list and came back off the disabled list, went back into the rotation and got hurt. So there is some history there. I know that there's certainly some concern. My concern for him moving forward is that he is not going to probably get to pitch the biggest innings in the biggest moment of his career. He's going to have to wait for that to happen. Now, all indications tell you that he's sound, that he's healthy, much like, again, Jeff Samardzija, but he's going to be shut down. So he doesn't get those playoff innings. He doesn't get that experience that is so vital. Yes, his stuff is elite. Yes, he's one of the best in the game. But again, playoff baseball is so different than regular season baseball. He's not going to get to experience it. Number one, I firmly believe he deserves it. But second, he doesn't get to build off of that.
Very unusual situation in Washington. We want to know what you think about Jeff Samardzija's season coming to an early end. Our Twitter question of the night is, do you agree with the Cubs' decision to shut down Samardzija? Use the hashtag Cubs Talk when sending in your answers, and we'll have some of your responses later tonight on the postgame show. Let's take a look at the Pirates lineup now. Samardzija will be facing this group of guys here. Brock Holt leading things off. Holt is hitting .400 his first 6 big league games. Starling Marte is in left field. Andrew McCutchen, of course, is always dangerous. And Garrett Jones, how about this? .328 with 3 home runs and 16 RBI in his last 19 games at PNC Park. Pedro Alvarez at third, Alex Presley in right field, Clint Barnes at shortstop, Rob Barajas catching, and James McDonald, as we mentioned, will be on the mound for the Pirates. Time now for the Comcast Business Edge as we look at Pirates center fielder Andrew McCutchen. Comcast Business Edge, sports at the speed of business. McCutchen was hitless last night against the Cubs, but was robbed twice. He's still batting .375 against the Northsiders this season. That's pretty good, Todd. He's also reached base safely in 46 of his 50 career games against the Cubs.
Well, he has been their go-to guy. I mean, I don't think anybody's going to argue this fact. Number one, he's going to be in MVP conversations come the winter, come towards the end of the season. Number two, the Pirates, they're not in the position that they're in without Andrew McCutchen. Yes, Garrett Jones has probably been the bigger bat in the lineup here in the second half. The numbers prove that out. But what I will tell you is Andrew McCutchen is the complete package. He not only has put up the numbers on offense, he has been a clubhouse leader. He has helped Clint Hurdle rally that offense, because that's the one thing that over the last 2 seasons they've really struggled with. Their starting pitching's been good, but that offense, where was it going to come from? Well, you're starting to get some guys to respond, and I think a lot of that has to go to Andrew McCutchen as well.
Well, this team better get it going if they want to make the playoffs right. Still. The Cubs go for win number 53 this season when they take the field in Pittsburgh. Len and Bob have the call of the action at the top of the hour. After a final timeout, Todd will give us his keys to tonight's ball game.
You okay, babe?
I'm fine.
With a Subaru, you can always find a way. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru.
Training can't wait. Collaboration can't wait. The data of sports demands a new breed of speed. Comcast Business Class. Ethernet speeds up to 10 gigabits per second. Add bandwidth as you need it. A secure, reliable network. Because business can't wait to be at the top of its game. Don't wait. Call 800-501-6000 today and switch to Comcast Business Class.
I wasn't expecting to be back so soon. Everything all right?
It's perfect. We'd like the free installation sale again.
Get free installation on select carpet, hardwood, or laminate.
773-202 Luna.
This Cubs injury report is brought to you by ATI Physical Therapy, taking physical therapy to a higher level. Ask your doctor about ATI Physical Therapy. Get there.
So, you're in the market for a compact car. Time to choose. One of these cars offers the available hands-free sync system, dual USB ports, available active park assist, Wi-Fi capability, forward sensing system, and more. You can't get all of these features on a Honda Civic or Toyota Corolla. This car is the 40 Highway MPG 2012 Ford Focus. Get a Focus with no interest for 5 years, saving over $2,700. Plus, get voice-activated sync at no charge. Focus is the right choice.
Speed, efficiency, traction. The BMW 3 Series with xDrive all-wheel drive. With 4 wheels gripping the road, there's no limit to where you can go. We only make one thing, the ultimate driving machine. The 3 Series is here, available with xDrive Intelligent all-wheel drive.
You're watching Comcast Sportsnet, part of the NBC Sports Group.
Let's check out the ATI Physical Therapy injury report. The Cubs have 5 players on the 60-day disabled list, and 4 of them are pitchers. Matt Garza is sidelined with a stress reaction in the right elbow. Marcos Mateo, Blake Parker, and Otis Vizcaino are also suffering from elbow issues, while third baseman Ian Stewart is still recovering from wrist surgery. All right, let's get Todd Subaru keys to the game.
Okay, here we go. Last call. Jeff Samardzija, this is it, big boy. You got your opportunity right in front of you. I don't think you have to go out there and have the mentality of emptying the tank. Just continue to do what you've been doing. Dominant, 95, 96 mile an hour fastball. Great splitting the entire second half. Good slider. Been able to put himself in position to get key outs. His strikeout pitches, his secondary pitches have been outstanding. I'm looking for more of the same. Basically, this Pirates team, what I see from them is that if they don't come out of the gate swinging the bats well, they actually get more aggressive in the game as the game goes on. That feeds Jeff Samardzija. He understands that. Hopefully, he'll recognize that and get to those secondary pitches, those put-away pitches. Maybe a 7 to 10 strikeout performance tonight would be solid. Uncle Charlie, I'm talking James McDonald. Basically, his secondary pitches have absolutely left him. That's been his go-to pitch. He has been such a split down the middle. James McDonald in the first half was absolutely awesome. He was 9-3 with a 237 earned run average in the first half. In the second half, 10 starts, 3-4 with a 7.14 earned run average. What's that tell you? His secondary pitches have been so inconsistent. You got to look for that tonight, see if he's got it. If he doesn't have it going, you're sitting up on that fastball. Game of adjustments. I'm talking a little Anthony Rizzo right here. Been real impressive. You know, he has been the big bat in the Cubs lineup. I know they haven't done a whole lot of scoring, but things have been better lately, and a lot of that has to go to Anthony Rizzo. I'm going to put it on him tonight. He's become the big guy for them, the big gun. He looks good. He's made some adjustments, moved off the plate, gave himself some clearance, and hopefully he will continue to swing that bat well tonight.
All right, and our key performers, I'm going with Tony Campana in that 9-hole. He's going to prove Dale Swaim a genius.
Well, I hope if he's doing his job, my guy Anthony Rizzo will be driving him in.
All right, thanks for watching Subaru Cubs Pregame Live. Todd and I will be back here after the game for the postgame show. Len and Bob have the call live from Pittsburgh. Coming up next, enjoy the game.
Cubs Pregame Live is presented by Subaru. Discover what it's like to have a car you can love.
Ready to go to work?
I can feel you in my bones. I feel you in my heart. I know it in my soul. You've loved me from the start. You've made me who I am and all I'll ever be. When I see you, I see me.
Every mom needs a little helper. That's why I got a Subaru.
Love. It's what makes a Subaru a Subaru.
Humans. Even when we cross our T's and dot our I's, we still run into problems. Namely, other humans. Which is why at Liberty Mutual Insurance, auto policies come with new car replacement and accident forgiveness if you qualify. Visit a local Chicago office for details. Liberty Mutual Insurance. Responsibility. What's your policy?
Sportsnet Central every night at 6:30, 10, 10:30, and midnight on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend.
Today's business travel challenge, redeeming a reward flight. The other airlines versus Southwest. These executives have earned reward flights.
They just need to pick a date, and those other airlines never make it easy.
Ah, that's a great day to fly.
Oh, you just got the blackout knockout. Oh,
But here's the Southwest solution. Every date is available, and so is every seat.
This executive can't lose. He's a champ with Rapid Rewards.
Business travelers win with Southwest.
Time out there, buddy.
Brian Urlacher?
That's me, here to defend you from DirecTV's so-called big deal. DirecTV raises your bill 100% after a year, and they lock you into a 2-year contract that could cost you over $2,500 bucks.
I can't afford that.
That's why your best play is Xfinity. The biggest plays on Sunday, live. The best of college football, and you can take the action wherever you go.
Hey, Brian.
No pixie dust, just pigskin. Yeah! Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Call today.
Pro football's opening day. Watch Chicago take on Indy from Chicagoland's biggest sports bar, the Venue at Horseshoe Casino. See the big game on a 60-foot HD screen. Great beer specials and a $15 advance price all-you-can-eat buffet. Only at the Venue at Horseshoe Casino. Visit ChicagoHorseshoe.com for more info. We proudly present Chicago Cubs baseball on Comcast Sportsnet, part of the NBC Sports Group.
The Cubs capitalized on Pirates' miscues last night, scoring 12 runs on 12 hits. But let's not forget the stellar defense for a much-needed win on this road trip. We greet you from downtown Pittsburgh as we get set for Chicago Cubs baseball on Comcast Sportsnet. Nice night here in Western PA. Temperatures have cooled a little bit, and the Cubs and Pirates will play Game 2 of this 3-game weekend set. Hi again, everyone. Bob Renly and Len Casper with you. The Cubs last night snapped a 6-game skid, also an 8-game road losing streak with a 12-2 win. It was a weird game, to say the least.
We saw a lot of things last night that we didn't think we would ever see on a field. The Pirates kicked the ball around at a remarkable rate, but it all started with Travis Wood for the Cubs. Looking for his first win in his last 10 starts. That's the command we like to see from Travis Wood. Moved his fastball around, changed speeds, really did a nice job, and then the Buccos handled everything else.
Yeah, the Cubs took advantage of 7 Pirates errors. They played great defense themselves as Alfonso Soriano robbing Andrew McCutchen, and then maybe the catch of the year, Brett Jackson. Fortunately, Bob, not a serious injury. He's day-to-day.
Yeah, just a bad bruise on that right knee, some cuts, some scrapes. He says he feels like he's been in a car wreck, but he should be okay, hopefully very soon.
Cubs had struggled to put together some big innings, but they were able to score 12 times last night. As we check in on our Menards Big Lumber stat, the 4th time the Cubs have played it at least 12. Starlin Castro had 3 of those hits and 4 RBIs. And tonight, Jeff Samardzija will make his final start of 2012. He'll try to go out with a win. Cubs look for 2 in a row here in Pittsburgh. Coming up next.
If I wanna be the boss,
I'm Roland Gartner.
and I wanna save some money.
I've sold a lot of cars over the years, probably over 400,000. You know, it's not that hard. You tell the customer what you're going to do, and then you do it.
I better go to Gartner.
Gartner Hyundai Chicagoland's used Hyundai store has made a major purchase of fuel-efficient Hyundais. So shop over 100 used Hyundais and buy a 2011 Sonata for only $16,995.
And then you give the customer just a little bit more. That seems to go a long, long way.
This is Joe. He really likes the sun. Joe says the sun can give us all the energy we need without hurting the planet. He says there are people and companies who already know how to use the sun. We just have to get behind them. Can one solution to energy woes be found up in the sky? The possibilities are endless.
Cubs baseball on Comcast Sportsnet is brought to you in part by your Chicago area and Northwest Indiana Lexus dealer, who invites you to test drive a Lexus today. Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois. Through it all. Liberty Mutual Insurance. Responsibility. What's your policy? Toyota. Right now, you can get a lot for less at your local Toyota dealer, official partner of the Chicago Cubs. The new wireless receiver from AT&T Uverse. Visit att.com/freeyourtv. Rethink possible. BMO Harris Bank. Helping money make sense. BMO Harris Bank. NA member FDIC. And by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com.
Let's quickly get into the Cubs Southwest starting lineup. They'll face right-hander James McDonald, and it's not a misprint as we get near the bottom. De Jesus, Valbuena, and Rizzo at the top. Soriano with 3 consecutive game-winning RBIs in the last 3 wins for the Cubs. Castro, Castillo, Barney. Yes, the pitcher's going to hit 8th. Tony Campana will bat 9th.
Quick look at the Buccos defensively tonight. Marte, McCutchen, and Presley left to right across the outfield. Alvarez, Barmas, Holt, and Jones third to first across the infield. Veteran Rod Barajas doing the catching once again tonight for right-hander James McDonald. Coming off a real rocky outing against the Milwaukee Brewers. Went 2 2/3, gave up 6 hits and 8 runs. 4 of the 6 hits left the ballpark.
Had a very good first half. It has been a trying second half. And we are underway. Fastball in there for a strike.
Opponents have broken through against McDonald early in his starts. 9 of his 19 home runs have been surrendered in the first inning.
De Jesus pops it up. Clint Barmas makes a catch. And that's the first out. Scott Barry behind the plate. Jordan Baker, Gary Darling, and Paul Emmel are your umpires tonight.
And just to continue with James McDonald in his early struggles in his starts this year, he's got a 7.33 ERA in the first inning of his starts this year. 3.21 from the second inning on.
Luis Valbuena called strike. Looks like it might be a sellout here tonight. Fireworks after the game. This would be their 8th consecutive Saturday night sellout as Garrett Jones with the diving, tumbling catch to Rob Valbuena. 2 outs. Well, the Pirates played pretty porous defense last night, but they're trying to change it up here tonight.
Step and a dive to his left over near the first base line. Nice play by Garrett Jones, taking away extra bases from Luis Valbuena.
Curveball outside corner on Anthony Rizzo. McDonald 0-2 lifetime against the Cubs. Includes a 5-1 loss here on July 24th. He had a 2.37 pre-All-Star break ERA, 7.14 since. Tall, lanky righty coming back. And fastball misses up and away. 6'4", 205 pounds. From Long Beach, California, acquired from the Dodgers trade deadline in 2010 as Rizzo went around, and that's the inning. So McDonald, who had struggled in the first inning, doesn't tonight. And the Pirates are coming up against Jeff Samardzija when we come back.
Read it. Tweet it. Be surprised. Be productive. Make a sale. Make some lunch. Make it movie night. Play a game or an old favorite. Do it all more beautifully with the Retina display on iPad.
Save big money during the Menard Day sale. Add a natural look with Shaw laminate flooring. Nature's Expression has an embossed wood grain texture, $179 a square foot. Classic Charm has an authentic tile look and feel, $275 a square foot. Add safety and security to your home with a new lock set from Dexter by Schlag, all on sale. The bright brass Byron entry knob is $9.99. The satin nickel Stratus entry knob is just $16.99.
Save big money at Menards.
This is Mission Control. You are go for re-entry. Coors Light Silver Bullet Pine. We are cleared for 16 ounces of refreshment. Resealable cap disengaged. That's one giant pint for mankind. Cross-brewed Coors Light, the summer's most refreshing beer.
Well, the Pirates didn't lose any ground on the Cardinals. They're still a game and a half behind St. Louis for the second wild card. As the Brewers beat them in extras last night, their Southwest starting lineup: Holt, Marte, McCutchen, Jones, Alvarez, Presley, Barmas, Barajas, and McDonald.
And here's how the Cubs will line them up defensively tonight. Alfonso Soriano in left, Tony Campana filling in for Brett Jackson in center field tonight. David DeJesus over in right. It'll be Valbuena, Castro, Barney, and Rizzo third to first across the infield. Wellington Castillo behind the plate tonight as Steve Clevenger serves his one-game suspension for his part in that brouhaha in Washington the other day. And Jeff Samardzija making his final start of the 2012 season.
And Samardzija did not appeal that suspension, which was handed down earlier today. And for Samardzija, the goal here, I think early on, Bob, he was talking with his pitching coach Chris Bosio, is to maintain his composure, not try to overdo it, and essentially pitch a month's worth of games here in his final start. And that's a challenge for a bulldog type of guy like Samardzija. Chris Bosio today said saddest day of the year. He has so enjoyed working with and watching Samardzija make the transition from reliever to the head of the rotation. I said, is there another guy you've been with as a pitching coach who has had you as excited as Samardzija? And he said the only guy is Giovanni Gallardo. I said, I told Jeff that, and that's pretty high praise to put Samardzija in the same company as Giovanni Gallardo.
Well, you get the feeling Jeff Samardzija and Gallardo are going to hook up a lot over the very near future. Samardzija figures to complete his rise to the top of the rotation, and there's no question Giovanni Gallardo is a top of the rotation guy.
That one smacked into left for a base hit, so Holt is aboard. Pirates had very little going offensively last night. In fact, they didn't have a hit until the fifth inning off Travis Wood.
Yeah, Samardzija somewhat did Holt a favor right there, an off-speed pitch up and out over the plate. Holt looks like the kind of guy to me that is looking for pitches up and out over the plate to line into left field like he just did to start the game for the Pirates.
Marte with his second game back from the DL. Squares to bunt, takes the pitch low. Yeah, Bosio was showing me, on their iPad, you can just punch in Jeff Samardzija and look at any kind of video he wants from the last few years. And we looked at his mechanics 2 years ago, last year, and this year, and it's really remarkable the difference. Bunted toward first. Rizzo will pick it up and tag Marte. And Bob, I think the biggest issue is that Jeff's mechanics in general in his windup just seem tighter, more fluid, and less movement in the right spots than he used to have.
Which gives him the ability to repeat his mechanics pitch after pitch after pitch. And any starting pitcher or pitching coach at the major league level will tell you that's the key to any pitcher's success. Your ability to consistently get your arm in the same position pitch after pitch after pitch.
Good hand for Andrew McCutchen, MVP candidate. Runner at second, one out, and Samardzija drills him. McCutchen failed to reach base last night. For the first time in his last 41 games against the Cubs, he was robbed on a couple of great plays in the outfield, but he's going to reach here. And you see they were trying to go in, just in too far.
Well, they went in right into McCutchen's back pocket that time. Len, I've known some pitchers, I've played with some pitchers, that every time they have a situation like we just saw, a runner at second base, one out, the number 3 hitter, the best hitter in the opposing lineup at the plate with a base open, that's exactly what happened. Sets up at bats later in the ball game, and it sets up a potential inning-ending double play here.
Fastball outside on Garrett Jones, Chicago area native. Putting together a fine season. Playing right, and tonight is at first.
You talk about Jeff Samardzija trying to keep everything under control tonight. And we talk about it all the time with a starting pitcher in the 7th or 8th inning of a ball game when his spot is due to lead off the next inning, and we say he's going to empty the tank here in his last inning of work. Samardzija has to avoid that idea here in the first inning. You don't want to empty the tank quite yet.
Just missed, apparently low. He didn't like the call. Scott Barry 3-0.
Our BMO Harris pitch tracks shows it right near the bottom of the strike zone. So 2 pitches right at the bottom of the strike zone, but he's behind 3-0.
And the bases are now loaded. Ball 4. And we already have issues. Scott Barry looking over into the Cubs dugout. And I think that's directed at Samardzija. His reaction on the last 2 pitches, he clearly wanted both. Castillo then might have said something. And then Barry looked in the dugout maybe to tell them, hey, make sure your pitcher doesn't do that anymore.
Well, according to pitch tracks, the count should be 1-3. I was talking about the idea of using some kind of pitch track system and taking the balls and strike calls out of the umpire's hand, and I really think that's something that needs to be addressed along with other forms of instant replay. There's too much variance in that strike zone from umpire to umpire.
How about having the home plate umpire, but having each manager have a couple of challenges on pitches, almost like in tennis?
I say let the computer call them all. Okay. Get them all right. You'd never have an argument over a ball strike call again.
AT&T U-verse Multiview, 3 on with only 1 out. Samardzija's got Alvarez behind. 0-2. Bounce to first, foul. By the end of the evening, it might be light jacket weather. 66 pretty comfortable degrees as we get started.
A lot of rain off and on pretty much all day here in Pittsburgh. Skies were very threatening at times, but knock on wood, hopefully we'll get this one in without incident.
That one drilled out into right center, and the Pirates get 2. Holt and McCutchen are in, and it's 2-0.
Well, not a bad pitch. You could see Wellington Castillo was going down, getting ready to block that splitter on the outside part of the plate, and Alvarez just reached out and hooked it back to right center field for a 2 RBI base hit.
And Chris Bosio is going to come out, maybe address some of these things we've been talking about. Jeff may be amped up a little bit.
It has
Might
to be
a little upset right now, too.
Yeah, I think he's a little upset with the strike zone, and he's upset with himself. And it has to be on his mind, you know, the fact that this is the last chance he's going to get to come out and play with the boys. You know how much Jeff loves to compete and be part of the team, and I'm sure that has to be in the back of his mind also. I think this is what Chris Bosio was waiting for. Home plate umpire Scott Berry to make the trip out to the mound, maybe just to ask where were those pitches, where'd you have them? Looked pretty good from the first base dugout.
Oh, would I love to hear this conversation, but I don't think we could play it on the television.
I was going to say I could give you a facsimile of what's being said. I've been out there before. Probably best Nick Leyva got in the way of our camera right there, just so you lip readers wouldn't see what Chris Bosio was saying to Scott Berry.
Alex Presley fouls off. Recently returned from the minors on the final day of August. Another foul, 0-2. Presley, the last couple of years experiencing what a lot of guys in his situation do. First couple of years of their big league career, they've got all kinds of options, so they end up going back and forth, AAA to the major leagues. Kind of a fourth outfielder. This is his 85th game at this level here in 2012. Off the outside corner. I think Jeff went out there with this particular goal in mind, but he starts the night with a 3.91 earned run average. You really would like to see him end the year with an ERA in the 3s.
It's like that hitter hitting in the high 290s going into the last week of the regular season. You'd love to see him get that batting average up there over 300. Well, for a pitcher, you'd love to keep that ERA in the 3s if at all possible.
Grinding here in the first inning. A full count on Presley. We'll see if the Pirates will get their runners going. They are not going, and a swing and a miss, strike 3.
Part of Chris Bosio's message to Jeff Samardzija was we want you to go more than one inning tonight. Don't let your frustration with the strike zone and with the way this game started ruin the rest of your evening. I mean, Jeff Samardzija could put the brakes on right now, hold them at 2, give his offense a chance to get back into this ball game and maybe walk away a winner in his last start of the 2012 season.
Also wants to get a couple of at bats. He's hitting 8th.
Yeah, we need him to get some elevation tonight.
1 strike on Barmas. He sat out last night. So Marja went in it tonight with 165 2/3 innings on the year. In his first 4 big league seasons going into this year, he had thrown a total of 169 2/3. So And see what a jump that has been this season as he strikes out Barmas to end the inning. Pedro Alvarez gives the Pirates the early lead with a 2-run single. It's 2-0 after 1.
Today's business travel challenge, Bag Fee Barrage. The other airlines versus Southwest. These businessmen are just going to check in their bags.
Seems simple enough.
The other airlines contestant is taking it slow and steady.
Ooh, he's getting pummeled with bag fees. He's just got the bag fee beat down. I feel his pain. Those bag fees can really sting.
Gotta love the strategy here. Our second contestant is flying Southwest. No bag fees for this guy.
You gotta give it up for Bags Fly Free.
Business travelers win with Southwest.
Humans. We're not perfect, but that doesn't mean we should be penalized for it. That's why Liberty Mutual insurance policies come standard with accident forgiveness if you qualify. Learn more at libertymutual.com.
Why don't we play a game of hide and seek?
Right now?
Yeah, go hide. 1, 2, 3.
Bite-sized chickens grown up. New KFC Bites. Freshly hand-breaded in the Colonel's original recipe. Try 10 bites with an 8-piece meal for $19.99. Today tastes so good.
Time out there, buddy.
Brian Urlacher?
That's me, here to defend you from DirecTV's so-called big deal. DirecTV raises your bill 100% after a year, and they lock you into a 2-year contract that could cost you over $2,500.
Can't afford that.
That's why your best play is Xfinity. The biggest plays on Sunday, live. The best of college football, and you can take the action wherever you go.
Hey, Brian.
No pixie dust, just pigskin. Yeah! Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Call today.
Well, we usually don't have props for our reads, but we have one tonight. Hey, fans, check out the Cubs Kids Club presented by ComEd, the official kids club of the Chicago Cubs. Help your favorite young Cubs fan earn his or her pinstripes as a member of the Cubs Kids Club, and they'll receive kid-specific perks, experiences, and merchandise. Visit Cubs.com to sign up today.
Alfonso Soriano leading off. 2-0 Pittsburgh. Soriano with a game-winning RBI in the Cubs' last 3 victories, including last night. Drives that one to deep left, and it's gonna go. A line drive home run, his 27th of the year. First pitch of the inning.
I'll tell you, Len, if Alfonso Soriano was ever involved in a home run derby, this is the pitch he would ask for from his batting practice pitcher. He loves that ball down. He loves the ball on the inside part of the plate. That one right at the corner of the strike zone, down and in. All he's got to do is drop the barrel of the bat on it. Screaming line drive into the left field seats.
Reminiscent of his days as a leadoff hitter.
Back on July 24th against James McDonald. It was a breaking ball, but pretty much the same location, that down and in area. Put it in almost the same seat out there in left field.
Chopped foul. Last night Castro ground his 500th career hit. 28th player to get to number 500 before turning 23. And the youngest since Robin Yount back in 1977. This one rolled right to Alvarez. Wellington Castillo in there tonight. Mentioned Steve Clevenger sitting out due to the suspension. So Anthony Recker, the backup catcher.
And we still assume Darwin Barney is now 4th on the depth chart behind home plate.
crazy game in Washington, D.C. It just recently ended. Corey Brown, a pinch hitter, with an RBI single in the bottom of the 10th, ended the game 7-6. Nats over the Marlins. They had a 2.5-hour rain delay before the bottom of the 9th. And right after the delay, Jason Worth tied it with a home run. Alvarez can't get it on the dive, and Castillo will have a double.
A nice piece of hitting that time by Castillo. Watch him wait on that breaking ball, lets it get deep into the hitting zone, and then able to keep it fair past a diving Pedro Alvarez at third. Not always easy to keep that pitch fair. You see that slow rolling breaking ball on the inside part of the plate. A lot of guys will pull it 400 feet foul down the left field line, which does you absolutely no good. Got to keep it fair to do some damage. That was a good look at Castillo as he waits for that breaking ball to get into the hitting zone and drives it down that left field line.
Be another record-setting night for Barney. Already has the NL single-season record for consecutive errorless games at second base with 123. And if he can make it 124, that would break Ryne Sandberg's National League record, allowing for multiple seasons. He did it from June 21st, 1989 through May 17th of 1990, covering 123 games.
There's some differences in their defensive approach, however. Ryne Sandberg was a guy that didn't like to chase down pop-ups very much. Of course, he had Sean Dunston playing shortstop and then Mark Grace over at first base and guys in right field who were very good at it. So Rhino didn't chase a lot of pop-ups. Darwin Barney chases everything.
Chop to Barmes, who will get the out at first. Castillo at third, 2 outs. And if it seems like Barney came up a little sooner than normal, it's because he did. He's hitting 7th. The pitcher, Samardzija, hitting 8th. Tony Campana batting 9th as he's in there for Brett Jackson. According to Ed Hardig, who points out it was rather common for pitchers to hit in a spot rather than just 9th in the 1800s. No Cubs starting pitcher prior to tonight had done it since at least 1916. That's when the Cubs made Wrigley Field their home. But then talking to Dale, he feels like he has 3 leadoff hitters after Samardzija with Campana, DeJesus, and Valbuena. And also, if Campana gets on, he can run and not worry about the pitcher hitting behind him. Swing and a miss. 1-2. Bounce to third, and that'll end the inning. Soriano on the first pitch with his 27th homer, his 92nd RBI. Cubs are on the board, trailing by 1.
How'd it go?
Crushed it.
At USAA, we believe honor is not exclusive to the military, and commitment is not limited to one's military oath. The same set of values that drive our nation's military are the ones we used to build USAA Bank, with our award-winning apps that allow you to transfer funds, pay bills, or manage your finances anywhere, anytime. So that wherever your duty takes you, USAA Bank goes with you. Visit us online to learn what makes our bank so different.
So it's between this or the Honda Civic next door.
Okay, done. This one.
They say the Civic is the best-selling car in its class.
It's possible.
It also has this cool Econ button that helps maximize fuel efficiency.
Oh yeah, this car has a lot of buttons. Get a defrost button, radio button, cruise control button, window button, wiper button, trunk button, super button, buttons inside of buttons, buttons controlling other buttons.
We're just interested in the Econ button.
That's one button. This is a car with many buttons.
The Civic from Honda. 39 mpg highway and a way to help you make the most of it. Only a Honda is a Honda.
How'd it go?
Crushed it.
That's awesome.
Host your guests in luxury in the Budweiser Bleachers. The Budweiser Bleacher Suite features a sports bar atmosphere with new TVs, bar-style tables, and windows that open up to give you the atmosphere of the bleachers in your own private room. The suite can hold up to 100 guests and includes food, drinks, and parking. For more information, visit Cubs.com/suites or call 773-404-4200.
Nearing sunset here in Pittsburgh. Great look as the sun is reflecting off the buildings. And yes, there does come a time as Samardzija will make his final start, and Steven Strasburg's season ending even earlier than he originally thought. Struggled last night, and Davey Johnson made the announcement this morning saying there's so much media coverage. It feels like Strasburg's just worn out emotionally, losing sleep as Rod Barajas on the first pitch, and Soriano makes a grab on the warning track. And again, another ball that probably gets over his head in years past. Didn't even get to the barrier that time.
Boy, everything about his game has improved, Len. He runs on the balls of his feet now to keep his head from bouncing up and down as he's pursuing those fly balls. Gets to the spot much better. There were times in the past when he would have backpedaled the last 25 feet after that baseball. That time he ran to the spot, turned around, a couple of steps backwards, makes the catch right on the warning track.
1-1 on McDonald. So John Lannon will jump into Strasburg's spot in the rotation. Strasburg just over 159 innings on the year. Tapped to Samardzija. He will underhand. And now for our Home Depot doing more on defense. What a contrast last night between these two teams. The Pirates made 7 errors. The Cubs kept the Pirates from getting back into the game with 2 great catches. Both against Andrew McCutchen, by the way.
A nice play by Soriano, going right back to the barrier to make that leaping catch, and then one of the finest catches you will ever see. Brett Jackson on a dead sprint into the barrier right in front of the Cubs and Pirates bullpen out there in left center field. Yeah, if Andrew McCutchen ends up losing out on the MVP by 1 vote or something,
or the batting title,
yeah,
hit.
Lost a home run and at least an extra base hit on that one Jackson caught in the gap.
Yes, the green paint actually stuck to the pants of Brett Jackson on that padding out there. That's how hard he went into the wall. Really would have torn up his knee if his foot had actually been planted on the track. It was in the air when he hit the fence, so that was good news. Low and inside on Holt. 2-2. So Brett will probably get a couple of days off at least. I think the Cubs face a left-hander Monday. They will see one tomorrow, and Jeff Locke to finish this series. That's a strikeout as Castillo will fire to Rizzo. And Samar just settling in with a 1-2-3 second inning.
Spice rum from Captain Morgan.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Chicago Cubs and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Chicago Cubs.
Okay, sports fans, put your game face on. It's the Built Ford Tough Sales Event. Ford F-150 with EcoBoost, Smash Mouth V8 power with long yardage V6 fuel efficiency, and Super Duty with best-in-class maximum towing and fuel economy. It racks up major yardage, pal. F-Series is America's MVP. 35 years straight. Touchdown, baby.
Get an F-150 or Super Duty with no interest from 5 years, or F-150 with $4,500 cash savings plus $1,000 bonus cash and $1,000 extra for your trade.
I have evidence that proves my dad's a space alien. He speaks a weird language. He drinks green stuff. He says he's from Albuquerque. I'm not buying it. I mean, just look at him. And one more thing, he has a spaceship. The evidence doesn't lie. My dad's an alien.
The highly advanced Audi A6, named to car and drivers 10 best.
Tomorrow, a brand new episode of the Batter's Box. Don't miss a minute of the excitement as 2 first-round winners put their Chicago baseball knowledge to the test. The Batter's Box presented by Midas tomorrow night at 6 only on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend. Here's the 0-1 to Campana. It's fouled off. Parents are in town. Watching the Cubs this weekend. He was recalled on September 1st. And making his 37th overall start and his 33rd in center. 26 stolen bases leading the team. Chokes up on the bat on the 0-2, and there's a base hit. An aggressive turn around first.
I wouldn't expect him to be there long. We've talked about the Pirates and their trouble controlling the opposing running game. Combined, Rod Barajas and Michael McHenry behind the plate this year have thrown out 9 of 101 attempted base stealers. And the pitchers haven't done him any favors either.
Not running as DeJesus takes ball 1. Field pop his first time up. 0 for 15 so far on the trip. One slightly troubling part of this slump for David is that he hasn't mixed in any walks. That is something he normally does even when he goes through a little mini slump. Speaking of throwing out base runners, Giovanni Soto just threw out his first as a Ranger. He had been 0 for 22 before nailing former Cub Sam Fuld. Tonight, Texas is at Tampa Bay.
Tony with a slight flinch towards second base, but still able to get back in on his belly to that outfield corner of the bag. Long reach for the tag by Garrett Jones over there at first.
In over half James McDonald's first half starts, he went at least 7 innings. But since the All-Star break, he's only done it once. There's a base hit. So DeJesus gets his first of the trip. It'll send Campana over to third, and the Cubs have him at the corners with no outs.
Went down and got that pitch a little below the bottom of the strike zone, and with Campana's speed, he'll turn the corner at second base and advance to third. Like to see him stay on his feet right here. Pat Listace had both hands high in the air above his head, letting Tony know there's no play here at third base. You'd rather stay on your feet just in case that ball is mishandled. You might have an opportunity to score.
The other weird note about James McDonald is when he's faced the Cardinals, he's been great. Everybody else has given him problems. 13 scoreless innings against the Cardinals here in the second half, but 41 earned runs in under 39 innings going into tonight versus the rest of the league. Valbuena with a bloop into left. It will drop foul.
Boy, and as a base runner, anytime you see a fly ball in foul territory, I don't care if you're third or first or second, where you are on the bases, immediately tag up. If the ball drops, it's going to be a foul ball, and you're going to go back to your base anyway. There's a chance that one of the Pirates defenders makes a diving catch on that ball in foul territory. Tony Campana might have been able to score. Always tag up on fly balls in foul territory.
Blocked by Barajas. Runners have to stay. 1-2.
Big old bumblebee back there behind home plate with that gold and black catcher's gear on. Nice block of that breaking pitch in the dirt.
Curveball outside. Rizzo on deck. Dale Swaim's unique batting order paying off here early as number 9 hitter Tony Campana led off the frame with a single. DeJesus followed that with a base hit. Now it's Valbuena. Cubs with 4 consecutive lefties starting with Campana. By the way, I don't expect this is something Dale will do a lot, if at all, again. Said you would only do it with a leadoff type hitter and a guy with some speed like Campana to hit 9. But you wouldn't do it for a catcher or somebody. Unique circumstance, so he decided to try it. 3-2 now on Valbuena.
I would expect David DeJesus to be on the move over there at first base. Valbuena does not strike out a lot. You definitely want to stay away from that double play if at all possible.
And if Valbuena swings and misses, I'm not so sure Barajas will even throw to second because he knows Campana will score. It's a moot point. Out at second, out at first. That ball took Barnes right to the bag. Good news, bad news. The good news is the Cubs have tied it. It's 2-2. Bad news is all of a sudden maybe a big inning has been squashed here. Rizzo will bat with nobody on and 2 down. And Valbuena does not get an RBI. We often say tailor-made double play. Could it be more tailor-made than that?
Doesn't get any easier than that. I don't even know if Barmas realized that he stepped on second base. He was just trying to field the ground ball, and his step forward with his left foot put him right on the bag.
Rizzo gets hit. Got to be retaliation for McCutchen.
I don't think there's any doubt about it.
Both benches have been warned. Luis Valbuena not too happy last night on a pitch that was up and in.
Well, when some teams want to send a message, they will hit the next batter that comes to the plate for the other team. Other teams will wait for the corresponding hitter in the lineup, and Andrew McCutchen, the 3-hitter for the Pirates, so they go after the 3-hitter for the Cubs. Warnings have now been issued to both benches, so hopefully that's the end of it.
We're wondering about the unwritten rules here. Because it was McCutchen, whether it was intentional or not, when you have not only your best player but an MVP candidate who gets hit, oftentimes no reason needs to be given, and teams just try to protect their superstar by doing what McDonald did.
Well, and I'm not condoning it by any stretch of the imagination, but if you're going to hit somebody, they did it the right way. Jeff Samardzija hit Andrew McCutchen in the hip pocket, and that pitch was well below the shoulders of Anthony Rizzo, got him in the lower back.
And there's a lot of incentive for Samardzija to not continue this, because if he does, he's probably done for the year, because this will be his last start no matter what. Breaking ball, strike, 1-1. Slide step. And a swing and a foul. 1-2. First pitch. Boom.
Well, and the best way to handle a plunking, even if it was retaliatory, is hit a 2-run homer. Make it really hurt. Well, we understand what you're doing, protecting your MVP caliber player by hitting our number 3 hitter. Now make it hurt.
Donald ready, and he gets him. And the inning is over. So McDonald with his second strikeout. The Cubs, however, have tied it. It's 2-2 in the third.
How do you make summer feel 90 days longer? Get to the Mazda Summer Drive, because you can save big on a 2012 Mazda 3 with no payments for 90 days and 0% APR for 60 months. So get our hottest deal of the summer on the 40 MPG Highway Mazda 3 with Skyactiv technology. 0% APR for 60 months, no payments for 90 days. Only at the Mazda Summer Drive, and only for a limited time.
You want to buy another bit? You want to buy now 3 on this rare collection of baseball cards. I'm at 33. You want to put another bit right there. Once again, all going to charity. Now 4. Now 5. Now 6. Now 7. I'm at 37. You're gonna kick yourself if you don't go home with this box of baseball history. Now 8. All you know done. Sold it. 3,800 right there to that lucky gentleman.
Transfer funds from anywhere with mobile banking. Get started today at BMO Harris Bank. Save big money during the Menard Day sale. Get the smart solution for keeping your engine clean with Gum Out. This fuel injector carburetor cleaner helps restore lost horsepower and is safe for use in turbo and supercharged vehicles. Just $1.69 a bottle. Make storage easier with Rubbermaid open stock wire shelving, all on sale. It's easy to install and perfect for pantries, closets, laundry rooms, and more. This 96-inch linen shelf is only $7.49.
Save big money at Menards.
Monday, Rizzo and the Cubs kick off their last trip to Houston before Jose Altuve and the Astros swing over to the AL. Coverage begins at 6:30 with Subaru Cubs pregame live. Cubs, Astros, Monday night at 6:30 on Comcast Sportsnet.
Hey, Cub fans, be sure to like the Cubs on the official Chicago Cubs Facebook page at facebook.com/Cubs. And follow the official @Cubs Twitter handle for the latest team news, updates, photos, sweepstakes, and more. You almost messed up.
Be sure to do all that.
You had the promo in front of you, and you're not allowed to read that one anymore. That is my territory alone. Starling Marte takes ball 2. You get the lip balm.
That's right.
I get the Facebook.
#caveman.
Popped up. And it's Barney for the first out.
Oh, so focused on the Pirate parents shooting hot dogs into the stands that I didn't see that the copy had been placed in front of me there.
McCutchen got hit the first time up tonight. Leads the league in runs and hits. Only 2 times in Pirate history has a Pirate led the league in both categories. Paul Wainer in 1934 and Ginger Beaumont 1903.
Well, that's a good baseball name, Ginger Beaumont.
What they called his salary? Gingerbread.
Oh, nice.
He's on pace for over 200 hits. The last Pirate to get to 200 as he strikes out Freddie Sanchez in 2006. 2 quick outs.
Just rushed him with a 97-mile-an-hour heater on that outside corner. Blew it right by one of the best hitters in the game.
Well, that's the other thing, talking with Chris Bosio and Dale Swain. Every pitcher seems to go through at some point a dead arm period. The velocity wanes. The stuff is not quite as crisp. Not only has Samardzija not gone through that, his velocity has remained extremely consistent, 95 to 97 on the fastball, but they believe he's gotten stronger as the season has gone on. But it's almost like he's thrown 200 innings because he got ready for spring training by starting to throw very early. He went into camp having to make the rotation. So he treated his spring training starts maybe not quite like he will in 2013, knowing he will have a spot in that rotation.
Well, what Dale tell us that Jeff started his throwing program in November, because when he showed up to Mesa, he wanted to be ready to go and show what he could do and earn a spot in this rotation. Probably back off that offseason throwing program a little bit. He'll still be ready to go when spring training starts, but probably not nearly the amount of throwing that he did this offseason.
Barney will get Jones in the second 1-2-3 inning in a row for Samardzija after the 2-run first. It's 2-2 after.
AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network, covering 2,000 more 4G cities and towns than Verizon. AT&T, rethink possible.
When Bill Larson's brakes started squeaking. When Pam Summers' check engine light went on. And before Tom headed out on vacation. They all came here. Midas. Total car care. Total customer care. That's the Midas touch.
Get up to a $50 mail-in rebate when you purchase qualifying brake pads or shoes at Midas.
This is Mission Control. You are go for re-entry. Coors Light Silver Bullet Pine. We are cleared for 16 ounces of refreshment. Resealable cap disengaged. That's one giant pint for mankind. Cross-brewed Coors Light, the summer's most refreshing beer.
Rizzo, Jackson, Vitters, Castro. The future is now. See the story evolve all season long on your home for more Cubs baseball than any other network. Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend. The fourth inning is brought to you by the new Doritos Locos Tacos from Taco Bell.
Beautiful shot of downtown Pittsburgh. 2-2 tie. McDonald to Castro. And the breaking ball inside. Castro homered off McDonald the last time the Cubs faced him here at PNC Park.
Straightaway center field on a middle of the plate fastball.
Base hit right field. Leadoff man has been on each of the last 3 innings.
Starlin Castro has really started to go to the opposite field a lot more, especially on this road trip. In Washington, he had a triple down the right field line, a couple other base hits into right field. They're going to pitch you away. Just take it the opposite way. Eventually, they'll work their way back into the inner third of the plate, and that's when you can really start doing some damage.
Backhanded. And that pitch in the dirt. Chris Sale got his 16th win today as the White Sox held off the Royals 5-4. So the Sox have ended a 6-game losing streak versus Kansas City. How about Chris Sale in an offensive ballpark with a 1.72 home ERA this year? Speaking of Sale, we will make our Cy Young picks in both leagues a little bit later. Castro takes off for second, got a good jump, and he's saved.
We anticipated that the Cubs would try to exploit the problems that the Pirates have had this year, slowing down the opposing running game. Got his hand on the bag ahead of that tag, high on the shoulder.
Little subtle thing you talk about. When guys peak, that usually means hit and run. He didn't take one look at Castillo at the plate, and that's probably why he got in. Meanwhile, a 2-0 count. Popped into shallow center as Marte will give way. McCutchen has it. Time now for the AT&T Mobility question. Youngest player to reach 500 career hits since 1900. Answer coming up. How many choices? 28, including Starlin Castro. Barney, the 7-hitter tonight. And Samardzija 8th. He's on deck. Holt will make the catch.
I'll go with my standard answer, Len. Every time there's a question about the youngest player to do something or the earliest to reach X number of hits or homers, I go with Robin Yount.
Okay. Robin was 21 years old. 21 years, 297 days old, to be exact. And he got his 500th. Well, you feeling it tonight? This is your last chance, Mr. Samardzija. He doesn't have an extra base hit, let alone a home run, which you've been predicting for the last 6 months.
He's either going to have to put it right down the left field line or swing late on a fastball up and out over the plate and go to the opposite field. Big ballpark from straightaway left field around to right center.
Bounce back to McDonald, and this will end the inning. So Castro's leadoff single and stolen base do not yield a run. It's 2-2.
Today's business travel challenge, redeeming a reward flight. The other airlines versus Southwest. These executives have earned reward flights.
They just need to pick a date, and those other airlines never make it easy.
Ah, that's a great day to fly.
Oh, you just got the blackout knockout. Oh.
But here's the Southwest solution. Every date is available, and so is every seat.
This executive can't lose. He's a champ with rapid rewards.
Business travelers win with Southwest.
Humans. Even when we cross our T's and dot our I's, we still run into problems. Namely, other humans. Which is why at Liberty Mutual Insurance, auto policies come with new car replacement and accident forgiveness if you qualify. Visit a local Chicago office for details. Liberty Mutual Insurance. Responsibility. What's your policy?
The first look is only the beginning. Introducing a stunning work of technology. Introducing the entirely new Lexus ES. And the first ever ES Hybrid. See your Chicago area and Northwest Indiana Lexus dealer.
Let's get the answer to our AT&T Mobility trivia question. Youngest player to get to 500 career hits since 1900. Mel Ott, just a little younger than Robin Yount. Back on July 29th, 1930. I do the New York Times crossword puzzle a lot, and I would venture to guess Mel Ott, at least Ott, is the last name among all baseball players probably used more often than any other, just because it's simple, 3 letters. And I know more about Mel Ott than I ever thought I would know. Let's put it this way. You'll find Ott in a Sunday New York Times crossword puzzle a little more often than Samardzija.
Probably so.
Not to say he won't ever get into the New York Times crossword puzzle.
Well, but in the jumble, That's a whole different story.
Yeah. Well, two ways to look at Samardzija hitting 8th tonight. He did strand a couple of runners, making the final out of the 2nd and the 4th. As that one's clubbed out into deep right, and it's over to Jesus. The ball took off on him. Alvarez to second, and he's 2 for 2. Is that the toughest ball, Bob? A line drive right at you?
Yeah, because you don't know if it has top spin and is going to drop in front of you. Does it have backspin? It's going to carry, and that's what this one did. It really carried. Alvarez hit it right on the button. One hop over the head of David DeJesus off that out-of-town scoreboard. Both hits in the game for Alvarez coming on breaking pitches. One out over the plate and down, and that one pretty much right in the middle of the plate.
Just to finish my point about the Cubs lineup tonight, while Samardzija made the 3rd out with a runner in scoring position each of his first 2 times up, because first base was open, even if it had been Campana or Barney, with Samardzija on deck, we don't know if the Pirates would have worked around those guys to get to Samardzija. But we do know that Campana led off the 3rd with a hit and scored the tying run, and he will lead off again in the 5th. One and nothing on Presley. Pirates trying to retake the lead here. Knocked down by Samardzija, and they got Alvarez caught up. And Samardzija just runs him down.
Nice.
Key there is he keeps Presley at first, because if that guy gets to second, then it kind of negates the whole thing.
Boy, handled that perfectly. First of all, he knocks down that hot smash back through the box. And he immediately checks the lead runner, realizes he's got a chance. He's got Alvarez caught in a rundown. Didn't even risk a throw. Didn't have to. He handled that perfectly. Get in front of the runner, running back to the base he came from. And Jeff Samardzija said, I can outrun you.
Well, he is used to running with a ball in his hand.
Yes, he is.
Producer John Walsh reminds me. Yeah, on a Saturday.
But not running at people, running away from people.
That's true. In fact, right around this time of day on a Saturday, he was used to catching and running with the bigger ball, different shape. Notre Dame beat Purdue today, by the way.
I know Jeff was watching that game in the lunchroom earlier this afternoon, providing some very interesting commentary.
Big intra-state matchup in Indiana. 1-1 on Barmas. High fly ball, pretty well hit, but a lot of air underneath. That'll give Campana plenty of time to get over. Presley will head back to first. 2 outs. People gathering once again at Wrigley Field tonight for round 2. Bruce Springsteen. And the reviews from last night were pretty good. He did not disappoint. Campana in right center. Retires Barajas rather. And that'll end the inning. Alvarez with a leadoff double. But they do not score.
Time out there, buddy.
Brian Urlacher?
That's me, here to defend you from DirecTV's so-called big deal. DirecTV raises your bill 100% after a year, and they lock you into a 2-year contract that could cost you over $2,500.
Can't afford that.
That's why your best play is Xfinity. The biggest plays on Sunday, live. The best of college football, and you can take the action wherever you go.
Hey, Brian.
No pixie dust, just pigskin. Yeah! Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Call to...
I referred through my buddies, and now DirecTV gives me $30 off my bill every month. But it wasn't about the money. My natural instinct is to help people. And in my line of work, my word has to mean something. So if I tell the guys, you get all these great channels and this amazing picture quality, that's what they're gonna get.
For every friend you refer to DirecTV, you'll get $10 off your bill every month, and so will they. Refer more friends, save more money. Just give them your account number before they call.
We imagined a hospital built around patients' needs.
Privacy is a top priority everywhere, from registration to all private rooms.
We designed the whole environment to be healing.
You want to try to bring some of the brightness and some of the light from the outside in. It brings a much happier patient. It lifts their spirits.
The new Porter Regional Hospital is opening soon, and we're going to transform healthcare.
Two as we get into the fifth. Campana will lead it off. Let's hear from Dale Swaim on his interesting lineup tonight with a pitcher 8th and Campana 9th.
Create havoc when he's on the bases, but so you can get a couple leadoff men at the top and let him steal the bases. So it's not always a perfect scenario to do it. So it's kind of the right scenario with a pitcher that can have quality at bats in front of them and create something up there at the top of the order with Campana before DeJesus.
So Samardzija, after giving up 2 in the first, has settled in nicely. Ball 1 to Campana. Lots of rain on the East Coast. Played havoc with the U.S. Open tennis tournament and interrupted the Braves and Mets. We mentioned they got rain in D.C. as well as Campana sends this one down the left field line. It lands fair and it's going to bounce out of play. He's 2 for 2.
Marte was playing shallow and over toward that third base foul line, but just couldn't get there quickly enough. Very cautious as he got over near that sidewall, let the ball bounce into fair territory on up into the bleachers.
Braves are leading the Mets 11-3 as they play the top of the 9th in New York. Excellent game in San Francisco today. A 3-2 final as the Dodgers beat the Giants. Giants won last night.
David with a job to do here this at bat. Find a way to get Tony Campana to third base. No sign of a bunt on that first pitch. David has put down 2 sack bunts on the season, but I think Dale has enough confidence that DeJesus can roll over and at least hit a ground ball to the right side of the infield to move Campana, so he's going to let him swing away.
Outside corner. 1-1.
And with that in mind, the opposing pitcher is probably going to work David away. Try to get him to hit the ball to the left side of the field.
The side benefit is if Campana runs to third, it does help the catcher, leads him that way a little bit. Matt Kemp has a bad left shoulder. The Dodgers didn't have him today. He's not going to play tomorrow either. They won today to get to within 4.5. Campana runs. Ball was dropped by Alvarez. He would have been in anyway. Number 27.
Well, not a great jump by Tony Campana. He's just got too much speed for the Pirates to handle right there. Nice clean shot to third base by Rod Barajas, but Alvarez cannot hang on to the throw. They wouldn't have had him anyway.
Infield in, the 2-1 missed.
Depending on what happened with the other base stealers in the National League, Tony Campana moved back into the top 10 in stolen bases with his 2 tonight. 28 on the season. Michael Bourne leads the way in the National League with 38.
Full count, 3-2. Big leg kick and the pitch inside. Ball 4. Donald's first free pass. Clint Hurdle got ejected last night for arguing a call at third base. Curve strike. Raining in Philadelphia. Rockies and the Phillies haven't yet started.
But it's always sunny in Philadelphia.
Well, it usually is, according to the TV show. But I think we left the East Coast just in time.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Fly ball to the left. This will give the Cubs their first lead. Campana tags. DeJesus does as well. And Marte's throw goes right to second. Valbuena didn't get an RBI in the third on the double play, in which the tying run scored, but he will get an RBI this time. So Campana lurking down in that 9 spot. 2 hits, a double, a stolen base, 2 runs. Mark Reynolds has homered again against the Yankees. 3-2 Orioles. In the bottom of the 4th. Reynolds' homer was in the 2nd. They'll get 1 at second. Relay throw late. Good job by Barmas to jump over. And sliding to Jesus.
Garrett Jones was very deliberate with that initial throw to Barmas at second base, eliminating any possibility of a double play as Rizzo got down that first base line and beat the relay throw. I inadvertently gave Tony Campana 2 stolen bases, so he's not quite in the top 10 in the National League. Starlin Castro had the other stolen base in the game here today.
Knight is still young,
yeah,
though.
He's got plenty of time left. I was anticipating his next stolen base.
Gotcha. Two and one on Soriano. Three and one.
Boy, how your thinking changes as a hitter. You go from 2-1 to 3-1 instead of going to 2-2. At 2-2, you're a defensive hitter. You're just trying to battle off anything close to that strike zone. At 3-1, you're looking to hit a ball out of the ballpark, especially a hitter like Alfonso Soriano. Home run swing, fouls it off to the right side.
Rizzo takes off on the 3-2. And this one will get out of play. Foul the other way. Here it is. Well hit deep center. McCutchen on the warning track, reaches up and makes a catch, and that's the inning. Cubs grab the lead on the Valbuena sac fly. Big night for Tony Campana. Pirates playing much better defense tonight. 3-2 Cubs.
It's Subway's birthday and everyone's celebrating because many of your faves are now $5 footlongs. Even the turkey breast, Italian BMT, egg and cheese, and more. September only. Join the sub price party.
Hard work has its rewards. And since 1873, Coors Banquet has rewarded efforts like yours with a beer made the hard way, using only Rocky Mountain water and the best high country barley. It's an uncompromising stance, but if you're of like mind, roll up your sleeves. We've got a banquet waiting for you. Coors, the banquet beer.
AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network, covering 2,000 more 4G cities and towns than Verizon. AT&T, rethink possible.
Gail Fisher here with a Coors Light Cold Blast Sportsnet Central update. The White Sox beat the Royals 5-4 at U.S. Cellular Field this afternoon. Chris Sale picked up his 16th win. Now let's go back to Len and Bob at PNC Park.
Gail, thank you. James McDonald flies to Soriano on the first pitch of the Pirates' fifth. So Margin, his final start of the year, leading 3-2.
Tickets are available for the remainder of the 2012 Cubs season, including the next homestand against these Buccos, the Reds, and the Cardinals beginning next Friday, September 14th at Wrigley Field. To purchase tickets, visit Cubs.com, call 1-800-THE-CUBS, or visit the Wrigley Field box office.
Strike to Holt. Brewers leading the Cardinals 3-1. Top four. Long night at the ballpark last night. Ready for this? 2-hour, 20-minute delay before the game started.
Okay.
The game itself, 4 hours, 30 minutes. 5-4 Brewers in 13. Diving stop, Rizzo. Good feed to Samardzija on the bag for the out.
A chance for a real quick pitch inning here for Jeff Samardzija if he can get Marte out early in the sequence here. Pitch count's in real good shape at this point, sitting at 61. Nice play by Anthony Rizzo.
Well, Dale and Chris Bosio will not do anything foolish. They won't let him throw 140 pitches, but if his pitch count is okay, Dale would be very happy to let him finish this game tonight, knowing that it is his final start. A ball and 2 strikes. Stay tuned. 6th inning. We'll make our Cy Young Award winner picks. A lot of great candidates. I think this has been the toughest of all the categories so far. There hasn't been in either league just one guy where you would say that he's a runaway. Now, you tried to pick Mike Trout, but he is not a candidate.
Well, he could be if they let him pitch. Does everything else so well. It's just been the running joke throughout our awards ceremonies here over the last several telecasts. I picked Mike Trout for everything. Manager of the year. Comeback player of the year.
Called strike 3 on the inside corner. Off to the 6th. Cubs 3, Pirates 2.
Today's business travel challenge, Bag Fee Barrage. The other airlines versus Southwest. These businessmen are just going to check in their bags.
Seems simple enough.
The other airlines contestant is taking it slow and steady.
Ooh, he's getting pummeled with bag fees. He's just got the bag fee beat down. I feel his pain. Those bag fees can really stick.
Gotta love the strategy here. Our second contestant is flying Southwest. No bag fees for this guy.
You gotta give it up for Bags Fly Free.
Business travelers win with Southwest.
You can count on me like 1, 2, 3. I'll be there. And I know when I need it, I can count on you like 4, 3, 2, and you'll be there. 'Cause that's what friends are supposed to do. Oh yeah.
Captain Morgan. To life, love, and loot.
After every Cubs game, watch Horseshoe Casino Cubs postgame live on Comcast Sportsnet. Must-see highlights and expert analysis from David Kaplan and Todd Hollandsworth, plus player interviews and postgame remarks from the team. Cubs postgame live after every game on Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend.